Yo, it's Bader. Hey, I'm going to try something different today. Talk about the hobby. There's two things that I've heard in the last couple weeks that I wanted to comment on. And I just want to show cards. I was listening to John Mangini, and he was talking about what's the difference between quality and what's the difference between quantity? How do we define these things? And I feel like it's simple. Quality and quantity, it's relative. You know, if we were talking about real estate and we're playing Monopoly, you've got your high-end stuff, you got your low-end stuff. You got stuff that everybody universally wants. They want to spend a lot for it. You have other stuff where you're like, people will have it, but they really don't care. One is of higher quality, and quality just means value. It's just a higher value. Socially, it's higher value. So you can have a lot of something that's generally not very desired universally, or you can have something that is very, very desirable universally. And you go, well, why is it one or the other? And it's one or the other because we have limited resources. If I've got $100,000 that I can spend on baseball cards, I can end up with a 10 million card collection, or I could end up with a 3-card collection, 5-card collection. Like, I can have extremely high quality, universally valuable, high desirable cards, or I can have a plethora of other cards. And you have a mixture of in between. Like, what's quality? Does it have to be $1,000 card or $10,000 card or $1 million card before we call it quality? Well, no, of course not. But we can say something is more valuable or of higher quality than the other. But I think the word quality itself is no longer subjective, it's objective. If you had somebody come out and says, my job is to objectively tell you how much something is valued at, we're not gonna be able to be spot on because we're talking about individuals who buy these things, but we can say this card is worth more than this. You know, any 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle is gonna be worth more than a 1991 Topps Gary Sheffield. I could have 10,000 of these, or I could have one of these. And most people are gonna go, I want this one, it's worth more. Anyway, so there's a difference between quality and quantity, absolutely, and we can measure these things. I think the question though is like, it's not one or the other, and like, well, I can only have one. You know, like Mangini's collection, he's got some crazy quality stuff. And then he's got other stuff that there's just tons and tons of it. He's got lots of it, and he might be one of the few people that cares about some, you know, low valued card. He thinks it's awesome. He thinks it's cool. But then I think it bothers him that people go, it's not quality. Well, it's not quality because it's not universally valuable. But that doesn't mean it's not cool. It doesn't mean that he doesn't like it. Which leads me into my second thing is the term junk wax. We call it junk wax and it's got a negative connotation. And I'm like, I think it should be. It should. It is junk wax. And how can you say that? I've got tons of junk wax cards. I call it junk wax because it's junk because nobody wants to buy it. It's not worth anything. There's no value to it. So that's where the junk is. If something is junk, it's not worth anything. That's not, to me, I don't go, that's not offensive. It's that there's 10 billions of them. Nobody cares. If we could somehow take the exact same card, the 1991 Gary Sheffield, and we could just change it so there's not 2 million of them in the world, there's only 5. Well, guess what? That's not junk wax anymore. That's very desirable. It's a high value card because there's not many. Now, did the card change? No, it's exactly the same card. It's exactly the same thing. But it's no longer junk because now it's rare. And those few people that want to buy it are willing to spend a lot for it. I'll also say, this would be to John. John, I think you think it's junk wax too. And the reason why is I think those cards you think are awesome. I think you think they're cool because they are. But I don't think you're going to pay a lot for them. I don't think you're going to see a 1993 Dave Dravecki Topps card or something like that. I could see you taking that card and goes, man, I remember when I was a kid. Or actually, you wouldn't be a kid, you'd be probably in your 20s. You see that card, you go, I have memories of this, I like this, I value this, I think it's cool, I'm putting it in my little case and I see it and it's got value to me. Absolutely. But I guarantee you, dude, you're not going to go out and pay $30 for one. You'd be like, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to pay for that. It's not worth that. I can get one of those anywhere. I can flip through a comic box and just grab it. And that means it has no value, very low value. So it's junk wax. think the point is that it's the negative connotation that makes you feel like, people are disrespecting it. I'm like, don't disrespect it. I've got 1,500 Kirby bucket cards. Like, they're pretty much, I'd call 99% of it junk wax, but I'm like, I love it. Now they're in my collection. I'm going to keep having them. But that's what they are. They're junk wax. Okay, enough with that stuff. I have another one that people were talking about, it was like a month ago. Baseball card collector Mike talked about SGC and he thought it was going to go out of business, like in the next 18 months. So 17 months now. And I'm listening to him and I'm thinking about listening to the rationale and everything else. And I just found myself going like, I disagree. I don't think so. And so I'll just share my opinion with this one. I don't comment a lot on people's thoughts, but on that one I did on somebody else's channel. And my thoughts is this. I was thinking of Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola, they sell drinks. That's what they do. And they are massive. I believe they're the largest seller of beverages in the world. But it's not just from selling Coke. It's that they attack everything. I believe they bought like Snapple. They have a bunch of different names of sodas that they have. They have energy drinks. They own different water companies. I think it's like Dasani or Aquafina or whatever, but they're just gobbling up. They have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds because they know what they do. They supply beverages. The thing that I look at when I go SGC and I go PSA, I go, they're competing. They're definitely competing, but at the same time, they're not. And the reason why I say that is because there's some of us that are contrarians. We don't like the main group and we don't want to go that way. We immediately want to go another way. And even if you change up that first one, we still have that feeling. So there's a part of us that are that way. Some of us just really like a certain look and we're going to feel differently about that. But when people started making the argument like, well, SGC's lead times are getting longer. You know, their customer service isn't going to be quite as good. Well, people just start going to PSA. My immediate question would go like, why? Why? PSA takes 3 months. SGC used to take 2 weeks. Now it takes 4 weeks. SGC is still better than PSA. Until you at least get to the point where PSA is faster than SGC, this is a non-issue. It's a non-starter. It's like, I don't understand. The other difference would be in terms of like customer service. And people saying, well, their SGC's advantage was customer service. Well, again, until SGC's customer service is worse than PSA, which I don't seem like anybody's impressed with, why is that? Why would that cause SGC to no longer be as optimal of a choice? I really think I look at this, I go, there's two things going on. PSA is the big dog. Everybody's so used to it, and there's an actual value difference when PSA has a grade on a card as compared to SGC, and everybody's so used to it. So PSA is the standard. If you get rid of that image, there's nothing else that points you to PSA other than the registry. That's it. That's the only thing. But for people like me and a lot of you vintage collectors, we go that don't care about the registry. A lot of us go, we like the holder better. We like the price better. Even if the prices were the same, I think a lot of us would still go with SGC. I'm like, I don't see this being a difference at all. So this is the way I see it. Collectors owns both. They can have both, and they can have them both profitable. You just take SGC and you go, as long as we don't make it where SGC is taking customers from PSA, we got a profitable thing here. So we don't have to do turnarounds as fast. We don't have to make as much money with marketing. We don't have to do all of those things. We can just minimize over here and make SGC a lot more profitable. That doesn't hurt their PSA side at all. At least I don't see that at all. Vintage is strong. It's a niche that's in this part. We'll keep going that way. We don't need to build up SGC's ability to do modern or to do, Pokemon and stuff like that. We're already competing against, PSA is competing against CSG. Why bring SGC into the mix? Let SGC own vintage. The people that really like SGC will keep doing that with modern. Why push it? Like PSA already has it. So I look at this and I go, I don't see it. I feel it's like Coca-Cola buying Snapple. And maybe you go, man, Snapple's commercials aren't as cool as anymore. I'm not seeing their recognition popping up all the time. You're not. You're like, it's not taking market share, but it's not going anywhere. There's already a strong base of people who love it. So I look at it as collectors just adding another asset under the umbrella of this is what they do. The other thing, talking about like just forcing SGC out, why in the world would you do that? Why would you open it up for somebody else to take the vintage spot or to take any other spots? Own your competition. It makes it a hard playing field for anybody to come up. If SGC disappears, it's just because there's some of us who just don't like PSA. We see them as the big corporate, unfeeling, group. And some of us is because we look at like their grading and everything else, go like, this doesn't seem consistent. It seems to be way more all over the place. And it seems like a lot of people just go like, it's PSA or nothing. You know what? I'm sounding like I don't like PSA. PSA is fine. I just, I don't hate it. I got many cards of PSA. I'm like, I just don't see anything about it other than the registry that is appealing at all over an SGC. I don't see it at all. And I don't understand. So that's my thoughts on that whole issue. So I don't think SGC is going anywhere. So stamp this. Bader says, like, because I know. In 17 months, I think that SGC is going to be still around. 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I think SGC is still going to be around. I just don't think it's going to have the oomph and the everything else behind it to keep it ongoing. I don't see why they have to. They just need to sustain and do what they're doing. All right. Those are my thoughts. That's all I got. All right, Bader out.